Hello and welcome. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts with the people of the country and abroad in a monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat at 11 a.m. IST on Sunday. After exchanging views on developments in the Indo-Pacific region in ASEAN foreign ministers meet in Laos, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar is on Japan visit, will attend Quad foreign ministers in Tokyo on July 29th. 12 children dead in an attack on football pitch in Israeli-occupied Golan. Prime Minister Netanyahu vows retaliation against perpetrator Hezbollah, saying the group would pay a heavy price. California's largest wildfire explodes in size, tears through 5,000 acres every hour, raging across US West, destroys buildings and forces thousands to flee. And in Paris Olympics, on day 2, Indian shooter Manu Bhaker to compete in the final of 10-meter air pistol. Boxer Nikhat Zareen to also start her campaign on Sunday. News in detail now. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people of the country and abroad in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time on Sunday. It will be the 112th episode of the monthly radio program. It will also be the second episode after Narendra Modi assumed charge of the Prime Minister for the third consecutive time. The program will be broadcast on the entire network of Akashvani and Doordarshan. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar is on 3-day visit to Tokyo beginning from July 28 to attend a foreign ministerial meeting of the four-nation grouping Quad comprised of India, US, Japan and Australia. During the meet that will take place on July 29th, the External Affairs Minister will hold discussions with his counterparts from Australia, Japan and the US. The meeting is expected to lay the ground for the Quad Leaders Summit to be held in India later this year. The Quad ministers will also exchange views on developments in the Indo-Pacific region, other regional and international issues, and review progress on Quad initiatives and working groups. The last meeting of Quad took place in New York in September 2023. And the 14th East Asia Summit Foreign Ministers meeting and the 31st ASEAN Regional Forum convened in Vientiane, Laos PDR on Saturday. The East Asia Summit reviewed cooperation among member nations and discussed its future direction. It also exchanged views on regional and international developments. At the ASEAN Regional Forum, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar stressed the necessity for the international community to take a robust stance against terrorism in all its forms. More in this report.
The 14th East Asia Summit held in Vientiane, Laos PDR discussed its future direction as well as exchanged views on regional and international developments. Ukraine conflict in Gaza and peace in Asia-Pacific region dominated the agenda at the meet.
It is apparent that peace, security and stability are fundamental prerequisites for national socio-economic development in all countries in the world. The Asia-Pacific region is one of the most dynamic regions of the world in terms of economic growth. Thus, to sustain peace and prosperity in the region requires active participation and constructive cooperation of all area participants.
From India, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar outlined India's stance on Ukraine conflict in Gaza and other issues. Jaishankar stressed on peace, stability, prosperity and development in the Indo-Pacific region. Dr. Jaishankar stressed that the sea lines of communication passing through the South China Sea are critical for peace, stability, prosperity and development of the Indo-Pacific region. He said that the code of conduct should be substantive and effective, consistent with the international law and should not prejudice legitimate rights and interests of nations not party to discussions. On Myanmar, the minister said India's focus is on ensuring border security, countering transnational crime, mitigating violence and advancing connectivity projects, adding to our endeavours are mutually supportive in order to restore democracy. Leaders attending the meet in Lao PDR also held bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken held bilateral talks with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Secretary Blinken raised concerns about Beijing's recent provocative actions in the region. Earlier, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken also spoke at Foreign Ministers' meet of ASEAN. Besides sharing his views on Russia-Ukraine conflict, nuclear threat from North Korea, Blinken also accused Beijing of escalatory and unlawful actions against the Philippines.
Whether it's Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, the DPRK's nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs, the ongoing and heartbreaking crisis in Burma, or the PRC's escalatory and unlawful actions taken against the Philippines in the South China Sea over the last few months.
After the summit, top-level diplomats attended the 31st ASEAN Regional Forum to discuss security in the Indo-Pacific region. The ASEAN Regional Forum comprises of 27 member countries and was established in the year 1994. Dheeraj Das report for DD India.
And India has deepened its strategic partnership with ASEAN as External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held a series of high-level meetings on the sidelines of the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in Laos. New Delhi's focus on strengthening bilateral ties and addressing regional challenges was evident during these engagements. Here's a report.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has reaffirmed India's steadfast commitment to the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, emphasizing its centrality to the country's Act East policy. On the sidelines of the ASEAN Foreign Ministers' meetings, he also held a series of high-level engagements to strengthen bilateral ties and address pressing regional issues. India and Laos pledged to deepen cooperation in development, defence and digital technology, reflecting the growing strategic partnership between the two nations. Dr. S. Jaishankar also commended Indonesia's leadership during the ASEAN chairmanship and expressed its appreciation for the contribution to India-ASEAN relations. As India seeks to enhance its partnership in the region, the meeting with South Korea focused on strengthening the special strategic partnership. With the European Union, discussions centered on deepening cooperation in trade, clean energy and emerging technologies. India and Singapore aimed to chart a new course for their bilateral relationship, while with Malaysia, the focus was on implementing initiatives to bolster bilateral ties. The ASEAN Post-Ministerial Conference provided a platform for India to articulate its vision for a peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific. New Delhi reiterated its support for Laos's ASEAN chairmanship and emphasized the importance of addressing shared regional challenges. Beyond economic matters, India also underscored its commitment to regional peace and stability. The Myanmar crisis and the complex dynamics in the South China Sea were key topics of discussion. India's position as a credible and balanced power in the region was reiterated, with a focus on diplomacy and dialogue as the path forward. As the region navigates complex geopolitical landscape, India's engagement with ASEAN has taken on increased significance. The meetings in Laos have reinforced India's role as a key player in the Indo-Pacific, committed to a rules-based order and inclusive growth. Its growing engagement was also underpinned by shared interests in economic growth, security and connectivity. By strengthening its ties with ASEAN member states, India aims to play a more influential role in shaping the region's future. Bureau Report, DD India.
And the Charai-de Moidams, a unique 700-year-old mound burial system of Ahom dynasty from Assam, was officially inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List on Friday, becoming the 43rd property from India to be included in the prestigious index. The announcement was made at the 46th session of the World Heritage Committee being held in New Delhi.
India, a country with rich history and cultural diversity, is home to numerous ancient sites and heritage monuments. In a significant cultural achievement, Moidams, the mound burial system of the Ahom dynasty from India's northeastern state of Assam, was officially inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List.
Actually, it was the first capital of the Ahom kingdom. Sargodev Saolung Sukaufa was there, and his was cremated there. His Moidam was there. After that, whenever the Ahom capital was established, each of the Ahom king must go there, and they went there and established as the king of the Ahom kingdom. That's why Saraido is being considered as a very holy place to the people of Assam.
Over the past decade, India has added an impressive 13 sites to UNESCO's World Heritage List. These World Heritage Sites include Hill Forts of Rajasthan. This World Heritage Site includes 6 majestic forts of Rajasthan. The fort's architecture reflects the power of Rajput princely states from the 8th to the 18th centuries. Mann Ki Baat at Patan, Gujarat, built on the banks of Saraswati River, this World Heritage Site was originally a memorial to 11th century King Bhimdev I, designed as an inverted temple to emphasize the sanctity of water. It features 7 levels of stairs and high-quality sculptural panels. Great Himalayan National Park Conservation Area. This national park in Himachal Pradesh is characterized by high alpine peaks, alpine meadows and riverine forests. Archaeological site of Nalanda Mahavihara at Nalanda, Bihar. Nalanda includes archaeological remains of a monastic and scholastic institution from 3rd century BC to the 13th century CE. Nalanda, the ancient university of the Indian subcontinent, features stupas, shrines, viharas and notable artworks in stucco stone and metal. Kangchenjunga National Park. Located in Sikkim, this national park includes a unique diversity of plains, valleys, lakes and glaciers. The national park is also home to the world's 3rd highest peak. The architectural work of Le Corbusier, an outstanding contribution to the modern movement. Complex Thew Capital in Chandigarh, designed by Le Corbusier, exemplifies 20th century modern movement solutions to new architectural challenges. Historic city of Ahmedabad. The walled city of Ahmedabad, founded by Sultan Ahmed Shah in the 15th century, presents a rich architectural heritage. Victorian Gothic and Art Deco ensemble of Mumbai. In second half of 19th century, Mumbai implemented an ambitious urban planning project. This led to construction of public buildings around Oval Maidan, initially in Victorian Neo-Gothic style and later in early 20th century Art Deco. Jaipur city, Rajasthan. The walled city of Jaipur in Rajasthan was founded in 1727 by Savai Jai Singh II. Kaktiya Rudreshwar Temple, Telangana. Located in Hyderabad, Rudreshwar Temple is the main Shiva temple in a walled complex built during the Kaktiyan period. Dholabira, a Harappan city. The ancient city of Dholabira, a key Harappan civilization site from 3000 to 1500 BCE, features a well-preserved fortified city and cemetery. Shantiniketan. Founded in 1901 by poet Rabindranath Tagore, Shantiniketan was the residential school and arts centre rooted in ancient Indian traditions and the sacred ensembles of the Hoysalas. The serial property included 3 key Hoysala-style temple complexes in southern India dating from 12th to 13th centuries. Bureau Report, DD India.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. US presidential election campaigning gains momentum. Harris and Trump attack each other's policies. World Nature Conservation Day today, a day to vow to protect environment and conserve natural resources. Paris Olympic Village setting a new benchmark. redefining sustainability.
We simply throw things away when we're done using them, be it a cup, an old shirt, or a used battery. But we can do a lot better. Let's find out how.
I thought I can get a bunch of people together and we can just create this beautiful product while not being wasteful, while paying people correctly, while not throwing things into the garbage can.
Our goal is to recover 95% of our nickel, which is the most expensive, most valuable ore, including aluminum and copper, of course.
We are successfully managing waste in this small town with a limited number of people, resources, and market. If we can do that here, it would definitely be possible in larger towns that have many advantages over us.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. In a deadliest attack in Israel since October 7, 12 people, including children, were killed when multiple rockets hit a village in the Golan Heights on Saturday. The Israel military said a rocket fired by the powerful Lebanese militant group Hezbollah fell on the Druze town of Majd al-Shams, a claim denied by the group. Israeli authorities said all of those killed were between the ages of 10 and 20. The incident has raised fears of a major escalation in the long-running conflict along the Israel-Lebanon border. On cutting short his trip to US, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu returned to Israel following the attack on the Druze village. He said that he was shocked by the attack and vowed to respond against the Iran-backed Lebanese group Hezbollah.
Citizens of Israel, like you, I was shocked to see the horrific photos in the wake of Hezbollah's murderous attack in Majd al-Shams. Among those who were murdered are young children who were playing soccer and others. All of our hearts are broken over these sights. I can say that the state of Israel will not let this pass in silence, will not overlook this.
Now, US Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump told an audience of cryptocurrency enthusiasts that Bitcoin was going to the moon and that he wanted the US to lead the way. Trump addressed a cryptocurrency conference in Nashville on Saturday in an effort to court crypto enthusiasts ahead of the November elections. He vowed to make the US the crypto capital of the world. During the campaigning, Trump urged people to vote judiciously as his opponent Kamala Harris is against crypto.
Bitcoin is not threatening the dollar. The behavior of the current U.S. government is really threatening the dollar. The problem is that Kamala is worse than Joe. She's worse. And she's against crypto, by the way, and she's against it very big. So I just want to let you know, you got to get out. You got to get out and vote.
Meanwhile, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris cast herself as an underdog in the presidential race against Donald Trump while speaking at a private fundraiser in Pittsfield, Massachusetts on Saturday. She contrasted her background as a prosecutor and said her campaign was about the future while Trump wanted to return the country to a dark past.
And you may have noticed Donald Trump has been resorting to some wild lies about my record, and some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird. I mean, that's the box you put that in, right? You may have seen me just pulled out of our debate. Right? I hope he reconsiders, because we have a lot to talk about.
And the excitement is growing among Indian American voters in the US at the prospect of having a president or second lady from South Asia after November's election. The families of presumptive Democratic nominee Kamala Harris and Usha Vance, the wife of the Republican vice presidential nominee, both hailed from India. And that heritage is sparking a renewed interest in the race for the White House. DD India's Nick Harper sends this report from Washington.
In front of millions of Americans, Indian cooking skills suddenly became a hot topic at the Republican National Convention.
Although he's a meat and potatoes kind of guy, he adapted to my vegetarian diet and learned to cook food from my mother, Indian food.
Usha Vance, a California attorney with Indian parents, has suddenly become a household name after Donald Trump picked her husband, J.D. Vance, as his vice presidential running mate. Her story means a lot to Kishan Puta. He, like Usha Vance's parents, come from Andhra Pradesh and both speak Telugu. And although his politics are different to hers, he appreciates the representation she brings to this election.
Our politics and elected politics is not very diverse, and we don't see many people who look like us in the leadership positions of this country. We can get beyond party labels and partisan politics and just appreciate that multiculturalism for itself is a positive step.
On the Democratic side, Kamala Harris has the chance to make history.
Okay, so what we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because you are Indian.
Yes.
A win in November would make her not just the first female president, but the first president of South Asian descent. A fact not lost on the Indian-American diaspora, many of whom hold progressive ideals that align with democratic policies. Chintan Patel works to increase South Asian representation and engagement in US politics.
In a way, there's this new energy, this new enthusiasm within the community for the potential of, electing Vice President Harris. We've been harnessing it. We're getting folks mobilized and engaged in this process like they've never been before. And I think we're going to continue to see that.
Census figures showed that the Indian-American community grew more than 50% in the decade from 2010 to 2020. And now it'll be up to the political parties to engage with the diaspora, the country's fastest-growing racial voting bloc, ahead of November's election. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
And the massive park fire continued to burn near Forest Ranch in California on Saturday. Thousands of firefighters were battling the rapidly growing wildfire after the blaze more than doubled in size in a 24-hour span. As per the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, the park fire had burned more than 350,000 acres north of the state capital city of Sacramento as of Saturday afternoon. The authorities said more humid air were expected in the region, potentially helping efforts to slow the spread of the fire. The fire has destroyed 134 structures. Evacuation orders and warnings were issued for multiple communities in several counties. And every year on July 28th, we celebrate World Nature Conservation Day. This day highlights the importance of conserving natural resources and protecting our environment. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya with more information.
Every year on July 28th, people from across the globe come together to observe World Nature Conservation Day. This day serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of conserving our natural resources and protecting the environment for future generations. World Nature Conservation Day was established to highlight the critical role a healthy environment plays in maintaining the well-being of humanity. It emphasizes the need to preserve our natural resources and ensure the stability and resilience of our ecosystem. Inspired by these values, Prime Minister Narendra Modi introduced Mission Life at the 26th UN Climate Change Conference of the Parties in Glasgow. This public movement aims to mobilize individuals to become pro-planet people, adopting sustainable lifestyles to protect and preserve the environment. Among the other notable initiatives, Prime Minister Modi announced the establishment of a national hydrogen mission and the launch of the International Solar Alliance. These initiatives focus on promoting global energy access and a transition to sustainable energy sources. World Nature Conservation Day is a call to action. It urges individuals, communities and governments to take proactive steps towards sustainable practices that ensures the well-being of our planet. Join us in making a difference. Together we can create a sustainable future for all. With car person Sumit Naujal, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
Alright, moving on to sports now. Today is day 2 of the competitions in Paris Olympics 2024. The biggest hope is, of course, pistol shooter Manu Bhaker, who will compete in the final round of 10-meter air pistol event. Also, boxer Nika Zareen will start her campaign today. Manika Batra will also be seen starting her campaign in table tennis along with Sreeja Akula. And the Paris Olympic Village is redefining sustainability for the Games. This village, featuring 16,000 cardboard beds, is a significant stride towards eco-friendliness. The revamped menu, with over 60% vegetarian options, helps reduce the event's carbon footprint. This environmentally friendly approach significantly lowers energy usage and reduces the carbon footprint associated with the Games. Paris is setting a new standard for sustainable Olympic villages. Alright, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile application. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.